Hey, welcome, guys. We are starting our new unit, and this new unit is all about the senses. We're still technically talking about the brain and the nervous system as a whole, but this is specifically orienting around the senses. I love this unit. I think it's a very interesting unit overall. What are the goals of this unit? Have a good understanding of the five senses and the role of the body. So definitely talking about like the five primary senses that we all learned in like pre-K and kindergarten, but obviously we're expanding upon that. Differentiate the anatomical structures of the ears and eyes. So we do need to know a lot about the actual anatomy of these two structures, and then comprehend the complexities of numerous sensory disorders and diseases. So some of them are definitely very detrimental, but there's a couple that we'll talk about that are also very unique. And truthfully, I view it like a superpower for humans. Okay, this is all information that's recapping, right? This is all information that's review from other units. Sensory information always has to travel to the brain via sensory neurons for further integration. So remember, that's just the direction in which that sensory information travels. The five senses are processed in the brain using the sensory nervous system, which is the branch of the peripheral nervous system. Again, all stuff we've seen before, right? Nothing new. This, however, is new. We need to talk about those senses. We need to know what their actual scientific name is and what parts of the brain control them. So this is pretty straightforward as long as you can follow along. So let's start with sight. Sight has another name that a lot of us are familiar with, vision. Where is vision controlled? Well, we learned that in the last unit, in the back of the brain, the occipital lobe. Next, we have hearing. Hearing is also known as audition. We've probably heard of that one too. Where is audition controlled? Well, we've talked about that in the last unit too. Temporal lobe. Now we have one that's a little bit tricky, touch. Touch is known as somatosensation. Somatosensation. If you remember, soma is a prefix that means body. How does that relate to this? Well, your whole body, literally your skin, is covered in these receptors, which is for touch, right? So that makes sense as far as the verb, like the actual word usage is. What part of the brain is going to control touch? The sensory cortex. So keep that in mind, a bit of a tricky one. Taste. For taste, I just think of a Spanish word that helps me out a lot with this. Taste is gustation. So for taste, I think of gustar, which in Spanish means to enjoy. So I think of it like a Spanish, I just make that into like a Spanish sentence. Me gusta comer arroz. So when you think of that, that literally translates to I like to eat rice. So taste is all about gustation. What part of the brain controls gustation? Well, easy enough, the gustatory cortex. Finally, we've got smell. Smell is all about olfaction. Olfaction, remember I had a mnemonic for this back in respiratory system and in central nervous system. We talked about olfactory smells bad. Olfaction. It's all about smell. And what part of the brain controls olfaction? Olfactory cortex. That's easy. Now, all of these senses have to be picked up, right? They have to be recognized via receptors. There are three types of receptors. The good news is you just got to pay attention to the prefix and it tells you everything you need to know. Mechanoreceptors, mechano. What does mechano mean? Mechanical. So touch is an obvious one. If I'm physically touching something, that's a mechanical process, right? It's applying pressure to my skin. Hearing is a bit of a weird one, though. Hearing, if you've taken physics, you should know all about this. But hearing, sound travels via waves, invisible waves, right, that we don't see. When those sound waves enter your ear canal, eventually they're going to reach a structure called the eardrum, which we're going to learn about in the future, also known as the tympanic membrane. And that drum vibrates as if you're beating a drum. So it's vibrations. So that's why it's a mechanical process. Photoreceptors, that's all about sight, right? So I think of a camera. That's all your eyes. Your eyes are just perfect for picking up light. And then finally, chemoreceptors. Chemical. So chemoreceptors is all about taste and smell. Literally, that's about putting things into your body as far as microscopic amounts of it. So for smell, it's microscopic particles of whatever you're smelling in your nose. It's obviously that you don't have to shove things into your nostrils. Far from that. But with taste, you do need to actually put something on the base of your tongue, like on your tongue physically, for your tongue to absorb some of the chemicals of it in order for you to taste what it is. Okay? So pretty short video to start. Just kind of wanted us to get comfortable, and then we'll continue progressing forward as we move through this unit. All right. So thanks for tuning in, guys. I'll see you on the next one.